Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 177 of Dissonant Waves. Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Who are you?
Fuck, who's the girl from Wizard of Oz who plays Dorothy? Fuck, what's her name? I've got to use that as a joke. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm Judy Garland.
And who is that over there?
Trix, this was your option for the... You ruined it. It's all over.
Okay. Well, this is Domino. Ritz is here, and Trix should theoretically be there.
Yeah, we don't know if she's dead or just didn't want to participate in the joke, but either or. Probably actually searching
guess
for her
I'm dead.
later.
Fuck.
Yeah.
There we go.
Shit. I was speaking the whole time. I said I am inside your walls.
Oh, got it. Yeah, you didn't pop up at all.
Yeah, that didn't come through at all. That's rough.
That's the old headphone adapter.
Yup. That'd be like that sometimes. We got
my new one
Your new one just didn't want to work.
Yep.
But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about this week. We've got Trix. Your pick was a new one for us. Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
Just as a concept. Just see what you find.
Yeah.
Ritz, you chose Crywank's James is Going to Die Soon, and the We'll Look Back at You and Love You Forever Jude is Going to Die Soon cover version of the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose... Well, I had you figure out what the picture meant, and we chose Lana Del Rey's Born to Die, and Troye Sivan's Something to Give Each Other.
Yes.
So 4 albums and a concept.
4 albums and a dream, baby. Where do we want to start?
Probably finishing my pasta. I got this nice chicken chorizo pasta I've made, but other than that, I'm kind of in the sense when I get Lana Del Rey over and done with. Not out of hatred. I just think that's a good starting point.
Born to Die, 2012 album, a hit with all of the gays of the time. Dear God, it was inescapable.
Hey, and my mum.
A lot of women were really into it too, but it was very much a gay album in my high school. And like looking back at it, it's such a subby album. Like, dear God, if you're not a bottom, if you're not a sub, and you love this album at least a little bit, what are you doing?
So yeah, this is my first time listening to this in a while. I would have first listened to this unwillingly in my mum's car around 500 different times because she had this shit on repeat.
I believe it.
And like there are moments in this album which I kind of forgotten that I remember, and with that, it's kind of not hard to see why I can remember this even after like 13 years in a sense, because there are songs on here which repeat the hook way too much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything is just a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Even like Diet Mountain Dew, video games, all of it.
Oh well, I won't have any slander towards video game. I will stand by the take. On an album that has a lot of pretentiousness to it, and a lot of reasons to kind of critique it after all the years, and video games isn't free of that critique from what I've seen. I guess people who like to call themselves music scholars claim over the past, I guess, couple years, and I guess to a sense been correct with some of Lana's takes over the past couple of years. Video games is gorgeous.
Yes.
Put aside the whole industry plant shit that's come out, the whole all the musical changes and stuff that she's done. It's a fucking reason that it was a breakout hit.
Like, this is the blueprint of what she was trying to do.
Mm.
Like, and you could talk about, some of the songs she sounds a bit flat. Born to Die is a really great example. She just doesn't sound like she has the chops yet. But she did her time. She learned. And I think a lot of the other albums that came after this benefited from starting here.
Mm.
Or, she was very much in that, like, Nancy Sinatra 60s, trying to appeal to the boomers in a sense, but also appeal to the gays and everyone else.
Well, don't forget, a whole kind of, I guess, the aesthetic that she'd built up, and that's why we had the industry plant allegations and truth come out, was that she was trailer trash. That was the aesthetic that it was. That it was this daughter of trailer trash has come out with an absolutely beautiful voice.
I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. It's been supplanted now by the fact that no, that's entirely not true.
Yeah, it's entirely not true. She was the daughter of a record executive. But...
Yes, but she has proven herself eventually that yeah, okay, she has the bona fide, she has the chops. It's just that she needed to start somewhere with her vision. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, you go back to when she was under her old name as Lizzie Grant and stuff like that, and nobody knows the music of that because it wasn't a hit. Like, video games, I guess, whilst it is a beautiful song, whilst it is deserving of a hit, the biggest misconception of it is debut single.
Right.
There was a lot of different attempts Lana Del Rey had beforehand. If you just research them up and research the history, you see that there's been a couple other times where it's been the push to get Lana Del Rey into that kind of big contract, big breakout kind of status.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, in a sense, whilst it isn't actually the proper debut, this is where it's finally been figured out. Like, this is going to be the sounds of what gets huge. And I mean, that wasn't, I guess, too much considered in the mainstream pop sphere in early 2010. That was this trailer trash kind of sound that we were getting aesthetic, which is why we all kind of fell for it. I mean, we had all the contestants from The Voice or the X Factor or fucking American/Australian Idol, which would have those backstories as well that would launch them into, I guess, temporary success when you look back at their careers. Whilst Lana's still here, she's not going anywhere.
I mean, it's a very easy image to kind of buy up into, like, oh, she's trailer trash and she has this affection to like James Dean and like the movies you'd see on TV if you were just watching like basic channels. Like, okay, sure. That was a cat. But I don't know, like without that imagery there, without the trailer trashness there, the nice thing is that the album at least still stands on its own. It does still evoke a lot of what she wants to do. Like, she didn't need to do that.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I think there are some issues with this album. Not talking about the aesthetic anymore. I think we're past that now.
Yeah.
But just talking about the album on its own, you're all right. Even with like one of the bigger hits, "Born to Die," there are some moments where she sounds a little flat. I think that's comparing to what we've heard and the consistency from her later albums. Which, I mean, stuff like Norman fucking Rockwell is a better consistent album than "Born to Die."
Yeah.
And there are some pacing issues. Like, I don't hate Diet Mountain Dew, but it does not flow well right after video game.
It's the slow, fast, slow thing that just kind of seems weird.
Yeah,
like, especially...
and I know I love contrast, but I don't think it's a case of contrast being an issue or anything like that or done too much. It just doesn't flow well.
Like, most of the songs, even before that, were on the slower side or kind of the more gentler side, and like having that contrast, that break with Diet Mountain Dew sounds like it might work or it should work, but it's more of just like, oh, we just kind of plopped it here.
Yeah.
And I love Diet Mountain Dew. I think it's one of the better songs on the album still, but I don't even know where I would put it. Like, would you start off the album with it? Would you like do it as song 2 to kind of like establish sound and then kind of show variation, or would you put it at the end?
Oh man, another one of the songs that kind of shits me on this album is "Off to the Races," because it just goes for too long.
Yeah, it's one of my least
like it's got a good concept of what it's doing. It's supposed to be a critique of the whole kind of high baller taking a trophy wife around in the city and stuff like that. But that concept is explored like 2 minutes in, and then it's just got 3 minutes to go.
Yeah,
it just doesn't evolve as a track. It just keeps going. It's a bit, and I mean, you have probably one of the most. I don't hate the song, but it's. I think it's her most streamed song at this moment now. And it was definitely like flagging every high school girl's fucking social media as this is my song, and that's "Summertime Sadness."
Oh, I love "Summertime Sadness."
Apparently it's plaguing every gay guy's social media in 2011 as well. I forgot.
The Adam Freeland remix that I linked was actually a huge part of that too for me.
That's fair. But
what a song! What, like, I think that part of the album is like a little bit lesser. If you want to like look at like the first half is pretty front loaded, the second half is kind of the weaker stuff. But like, there's some things with Carmen. I think this is what makes This Girl such a fun song, but Summertime Sadness is like the gem among that later half.
No, we haven't heard a take from Trix yet. Trixie, your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I've been fucking around with my headphones trying to find like the right angle and just listening in. But this is a damn fine pop album, and I wish I had more to say than that. Lana Del Rey has a wonderful voice. The songs do go on a bit long, but I feel like if I'm ever this will probably go into my pop rotation for whenever I need to like scratch that pop itch I rarely get.
More of like a sad thing, or just like a general pop thing?
Just more like a general pop thing. Like I don't get like overtly super sad. Like this is like I don't know how to describe it, but this is like mainstream white girl sad, and I've seen like the depths of the human soul in music, so
Well, I mean, going on to like white girl sad as a stereotype to describe this album, I wouldn't call this the OG white girl sad. It's been a vibe that's been around for a while. I mean, you could probably even go back to like Mazzy Star.
Yeah,
probably even before
my mom was huge into Nico Case, and she's I consider her very much kind of the definition of white girl sad.
But we did have kind of a rise in a different direction of that kind of stereotype. Obviously when Lorde broke out 2 years after this, that was a huge fucking thing that changed it. And I wouldn't call this proto Lorde.
No,
I think
it's too stylized.
I think,
yeah,
they're completely different things, but they did have very similar fan base. And the thing is that Lana Del Rey had that crossover of not just mainstream success, but people who cared about her in the indie sphere as well.
Yeah.
And like she definitely had her problems. Like I remember her SNL appearance around this time, if not a couple years later, was disastrous for her. And for a long time, it was kind of, in a way, it was like people liked her, but it was also like, is she real? I think the plant allegations were more about the fact, like, is she actually a good singer? You can't tell. And that she was
I think
on effect.
I think over time we've come to not care about it a bit more, but I guess when you are at a certain level of success, you can get past some pretty simple allegations. Now, I don't think industry plant is ever worth cancelling someone over about, but that kind of whole drop off due to allegations kind of depends on your popularity anyway.
And like going back to like stuff we listened to before, like Blue Bannisters and stuff like that, like in the years since, her voice has opened up, her voice has gotten stronger, and she's definitely used it to good effect. But like most artists, you kind of gotta just keep doing it until you can get there. So I feel like people are really quick to be critical and quick to like, oh, why can't she sing in front of an audience? Why can't she do this? Why can't she do that? Dude, she just wasn't there yet. People are allowed to evolve and grow and change, but everyone wants perfection. Everyone wants that fucking American Idol pitch perfect night, where everything is being hit just the right way.
Well, I mean, we can talk about what's recently happened with Paramore. They've decided to stop doing live performances. Full stop.
I haven't mentioned that.
Yeah, but without, I guess, too much speculation, but you gotta have to do some speculation for that. There has been talks that he was getting a lot of scrutiny just for the way that he was kind of performing, but he's somebody who'd only done like 6 or 7.
Okay, you said Paranol, got it. They said Paramore.
Yeah. No, not Paramore.
But yeah, I mean, that was also thinking of like Paranol being the anonymous artist, then doing live shows.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing, but also I can see why he'd want to stop.
Yeah.
Because that identity thing is actually super important. I mean, it's like the opposite of Lana Del Rey in a sense. Like Lana Del Rey is this kind of stated persona that she built, and Paranol is this kind of anonymous identity, is something that's being built and then kind of intentionally being kind of pushed down as, don't worry about me, worry about the music.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much else to say The album is something that is... It's surprisingly, despite being pretty grounded in its own kind of theme that it's doing, it's not a blender. The songs are recognizable from each other. That being said, it doesn't really do too much with the album outside of kind of the big songs from it, in my opinion. I feel like the rest of it is just... There's a bunch of songs that exist that are on the same vibe, but when you go back to this, if you really consider this the best Lana Del Rey album, I think that's just either out of nostalgia or rage bait.
Yes.
I will forever defend Video Games as a song because it is absolutely, despite having that overly done cinematic stuff, which probably should have been the big key giveaway that she was an industry plant, by the way. That is some very strong production that was done on a debut single in quotation marks. But outside of that, it's fucking gorgeous. It's a beautiful romantic song, and I usually hate this type of stuff.
It's because it's about video games, and you like video games.
It's not even about video games.
I'm pretty sure she says video games at least once or twice.
She says it a couple times, but it ain't about video games. It's a metaphor, I think.
Here's a question, Ritz. Lana Del Rey's video games or Tenacious D's video games?
Mickey Kojak's video games.
That's fair.
I mean, so coming back to this outside of high school, I do appreciate how much she's selling the persona. I do think that, there's a lot of discussion about her views of feminism and, like, is this good or bad for feminism? Because in some ways she's kind of portraying a very subservient feminine role to a guy that may or may not be an amazing person. But there, like I said, there's also a lot of just vibes of, like, people who are bottoms and who are subs and all that. I think they can get a lot from this. But
I love that that's actually the takeaway of video games. It's the song for the bottom.
Yeah.
You're a bottom if you like video games.
Sorry to tell you, everybody. If you like video games, that's where you are in life. But no,
that's fair.
Video games, Diet Mountain Dew, I Like Summertime Sadness, This Is What Makes Us Girls. Great parts of the album. But then you get songs like Off to the Races. And it's just like, ugh, this is not there yet. I see what it's doing, but it's just not for me. And I don't know what it is about popular songs named National Anthem that I just don't care about. Radiohead did it. I didn't care for it much. Lana Del Rey did it. I care for it much.
First off, I'd just like to make a joke and say that video games, Diet Mountain Dew, and Summertime Sadness described a lot of my summers in high school.
Yeah.
But anyways, favorites for me are probably the 3 songs I just made a joke about. No real least favorites. This is just a pretty decent pop album that will be making its way into my rotation. I haven't really listened to a lot of Lana Del Rey outside of this podcast, and I should probably change that.
And I never gave the full, like, confirmed favorites, least favorites, but it should be pretty obvious. Video games is my favorite. A fun shout out, because I'm never planning to cover this band, because from all accounts of what I've heard, they're just the biggest dickheads. But A Midi Affliction did a cover of Born to Die like 2 years after this, and it was kind of funny to get the metalcore cover of it, and kind of oddly good. That's the only time that I'm ever going to mention it, because again, I don't plan on ever bringing up A Midi Affliction. Least favorites, Off to the Races.
Weird Al should have covered video games. I think that would have been amazing. Alright, though. Let's see. What do we want to talk about next? How about... We're all going to die soon.
Yay! So, we've covered Crywank before. We covered it only in a covers compilation, in which I said the favorite song off that was the Lovejoy cover. So it's really good that none of the members from Lovejoy have done anything terrible over the past, I don't know, couple of months to ever make me regret that decision.
I don't know what this is about.
Yeah, you got some catching up. I'm pretty sure it was SA.
Something like that. Something horrible.
Wasn't good.
Lovejoy from England, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
They toured Australia, and I found out because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a ticket, and then I looked up and like, oh, Lovejoy allegations. What? Search this up. Like, oh. Which goes to show how little shit I get about Will the Suit as a YouTuber. Apparently, this is a massive controversy, and I just didn't find out until too late. I'm like, okay, well, that's done.
I only ever like caught like the weird tidbits that would ever make it onto my timeline on Twitter.
But still, when we covered that, we did the whole Crywank covers, and then we did all the original Crywank with it to kind of get that perspective. And I guess apologies to Crywank. We've already actually covered them when we're covering people covering their music. I promise you, we will cover Tomorrow's Nearly Yesterday and Every Day is Stupid or something like that. I think it's the title by itself. When we cover it, will be covered at some point. Probably not this year, but it will be covered at some point. But we're covering their debut. James is Going to Die Soon, which is just James. There was no other members on this one, so it's a pure acoustic one. Because We Will Look Back at You covered it, and it was. I figured if we're covering this, I guess we're gonna have to have the original context.
Can I say something ahead of time? Just because I mentioned it with Lana Del Rey with white girl sad music.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is white boy sad music.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like in its most pure form.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the production, but like, God, Born to Die did something for me. James is Going to Die Soon did not.
Yeah, and I was using white boy sad music as a dig at it. So I agree.
Like, for where it is in its life in like 2010, I kind of see where it would be important.
Yeah. But I have a feeling that this is basically the Seinfeld is not funny effect, but for Crywank and just us having kind of existed in this scene.
Well, in a sense, yes, there actually are a lot of artists that have taken inspiration from this era of Crywank, and go on with it. But when it comes to what Crywank actually sound like going future on, a lot of that's more dictated by their later albums. So, without having that kind of drumming happening onto it and just these pure acoustic sad boy songs, yeah, I can understand it's not doing anything for you. To be honest, this album doesn't do much for me. I again picked it more so for the context. I think there's some. I think it's also more interesting covering this with the cover album. The cover album is more interesting covering it with this, just because. Well, for one, we can actually hear the lyrics in this one.
Yeah,
it's a lot more.
It's the classic scenario of putting two painters side by side, and one of them is a realistic painter, and one of them is Picasso.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just see it from two different perspectives completely. And that that's the nice thing about doing covers is that if you do it completely differently, you can really make it your own.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, we got to go on to the We Will Look Back at You this side of things.
We can talk about them in tandem, really.
Well, yeah. That's kind of what's happening here. But I guess I got into a lot of excitement that they were doing their covers album because my favorite song off their last album was the cover of Adore. I thought it kept a very faithful rendition to a sense, but had still completely gone wild with it. That whilst it sounded unrecognizable, the more you dug into it, and the more you realize, wait, shit, they've actually done this pretty faithfully. And that's what I got. I guess the expectations going into this was that we'd get something similar. And to a sense, yes, we have. This is still got that sense of faithfulness that they had with that cover. Going throughout a full album, covering a full album like that. I don't think there's a single song that they've done in their covers which I can go and say, okay, no, this I don't see how you're covering or anything like that. I think every one of them has still kind of kept that same structure. But that, in a sense, is also why I'm disappointed with this album. Because We Will Look Back at You sounds so much better when they just are completely chaotic.
Yeah, when they do their own thing and, like, explore their uncharted waters, We Will Look Back at You is, like, really interesting. And I think trying to rein it in to do a covers album like this has its merits, for sure. But I think part of the problem is just that I don't think any of us find the source material super interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you gussy up something in your way? And, you know, if someone doesn't find it appealing to begin with, can you make it more appealing? It's possible.
Well, it's not that I don't find the source material appealing or interesting. I mean, I do enjoy Crywank as much as the tell that might be on me. It's more so we are getting so grounded in hearing. Well, the Adore cover, I felt, and I know that's what I'm comparing it to a lot, but I think that's just kind of the best thing to kind of compare it to at the start here. That still felt like they were having a lot of fun during a We Will Look Back at You song, following the structure of Amy Shark.
Sure.
And this just feels like they're just doing Crywank songs, which is fine. It's got that merit. And, you know, when we get past this part of it, there are some other things I'd like to talk about this album as well, which I think will be interesting to talk about. But it's just what comes into the absolute, like, reasons to come back to this is just, well, not in the terms of what the actual songs are, I guess. You know, it's hard to explain this shit, but, you know, I'm just trying to get there as I can. It's just I love those moments on the previous albums where they kind of just derail the song, but they go into these own different parts of the song, and you got those little moments. Like there's that part in Nexpo YouTube Poop where we get this weird kind of harsh noise guitar tones that go into it, but there's a moment where it just really clicks and you get this really great sound from it.
Yeah.
And we don't get that variety on this album.
But I do think that's important in terms of like evolving the sound and evolving the project as far as they want to go anyway. Like,
oh yeah, this is production wise their most mature album.
And giving a structure to it, giving a structure to their chaos is a difference than the previous albums. And I think, you know, that too is at least something you can kind of hang your hat on and be like, okay, they tried it. You're there.
Yeah. And this is production wise, out of all their albums when we talk about just the actual production of how it is, this is probably their best that they've done on that.
Yeah.
Just in the terms of how the actual individual elements are sounding.
Now, part of me wishes that they instead covered One Wayne G, but we can't always get what we want.
I would love to hear.
I don't think they said they were going to cover that. I think they said they were going to just try and make an album longer than that.
Yes, but
yeah,
the joke was that
covering
something like that.
If I don't think I would have brought that up if they'd done a full cover of one Wayne G, and I don't know if I had the time for that.
We would have.
I'd love to hear them a version of "If You Want the Sandwich" by "We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever." If there's a chance that I could will this into existence by mentioning it, so that's why I'm doing it.
Probably they'll be listening. Hi Jude. Hey Shelter. Now another important thing to kind of mention as well during the time between picking this and actually covering this is that they have not quite released them yet, but they have premiered them on FBI radio, which, first off, the fact that any radio station is touching them is just insane to me. Even though it might be a digital online one, full credit to the people at 704 West High Street.
Look how much the children have grown.
Or 702, whatever it is. For even having the balls to play this music, because it's incredible. But then also premiering new songs, which the big thing they've been talking about that they're doing is they want to try and get the cloud rap influence going on and start having those features go onto their songs, which they premiered 2 of them, which makes sense. If you saw the direction that Self-Titled was going, it was starting to go into that kind of trap influence.
I mean,
and personally, I listened to them. I think that sounds a lot more interesting because it has that kind of freedom to explore whatever sound they want to go with.
And this is not to mention their recent single that they did release.
Yes, with the Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. So that's where they are right now. It's exploring these different avenues of Hatsune Miku or trap or just other elements they can kind of throw into the hopper, in a sense. Also seeing a tweet from them, "Our dream is to have a song in Fortnite." There you go.
We'll get there one day.
That is, I feel like that's an easily attainable goal these days.
if we keep talking about them, it'll make it easier.
Yeah.
So in one sense, I think the creativity of this album being kind of a bit too lacking, just because they have had to kind of force themselves into the structure of another album, is its biggest downside. It is still great to see that they are, in one sense, evolving with their production. This isn't just becoming something that was a bunch of shit posts put together anymore. It is actually building up into their own proper sound, because this probably has the least, if any, shitpost samples that they've used in an album.
Yeah,
which
is impressive,
song, but that's about it.
Yeah, the Nightcore version, which, I mean, that's the best on this album, just because of how wildly different it is.
Yeah,
yeah, it stands out, and it's funny.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I've listened to this album quite a couple of times. I've personally wanted to get into it a lot more than I've ended up having it, but I mean, I guess the best compliment you can probably do to this is, if you like the first Crywank album, the original Crywank album, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll like this, and that's means like it's done its job as being a cover at least.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't care about the first Crywank album, then it's something that's like a different take on it that you might enjoy more.
Yeah.
It is, I think, without a doubt, still a cover, not just redoing the fucking song.
I think also what they've done here is they've accidentally created a great way to introduce people to them. Like, because of how reined in this album is, and like how it's a bit more grounded, I feel like this is an easier recommendation than something like Yabby Time.
Yes, this is their most accessible album out of the three. Yes. Well, I guess out of the four if you include the demos as well, but yeah, without a doubt.
God, I just imagine showing somebody new Yabby Time. What a time that. But I mean,
honestly, I think I can arrange that to be done live on air at some point.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Is that when you bring your father on the show?
No, but I have a friend who has like no idea about like the emo scene past like My Chemical Romance. So
yeah.
Imagine going straight from My Chemical Romance, a band that doesn't even consider themselves emo, into claustrophobia pop.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a jump.
That's like going from the tip of the iceberg to like level 7.
Exactly. That's why I think it'd be fun.
That actually, that's very valid. I like that idea. But in the end, I think that it's interesting to see them put on a mask, put on a costume in a sense, and do this differently. As someone who did not care necessarily about the original album, like, it's fine. It is what it is. I can see why Crywank got big later. I'm not going to say that this version of it necessarily improves any of the songs as much as it is an interesting look at someone else doing the songs. Like that Picasso comparison, I think, is very important. Not in the sense that, I'm trying to be like, We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever is like Picasso. You could say that or not. It doesn't really matter. It's more of the abstractness and the prisms of light in which you're trying to view the same kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I think of the two, I tend to like the We Will Look Back at You version better for that, but I would still say that compared to their two albums, I like this one a little bit less.
I'm on a similar vote. I think I probably enjoy the original version just slightly better, just because I think these songs, when they're allowed to kind of, I guess, be more coherent with the actual lyricism that's happening into it, is where it truly actually shines as its album. And that's kind of the main thing, because it's pretty hard to compare the instrumentation, I guess, in one sense. Otherwise, they're pretty different from each other. But it's not my favorite Crywank album either, so it's not like I had too much strong opinions on it. I guess so apologies to anybody who expected that we'd be doing a full deep dive into the Crywank side of this. This is your first Dissonant Waves episode, so thank you very much for joining.
I mean, what more can we say about Crywank, right? Like, I feel like we still get to cover them properly, in a sense.
This was a pick for context more than it was actually a pick for covering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I fully admitted that.
like, hey, they put out James Is Going to Die Soon in 2010. Huge thing, I'm sure, for people who are into anti-folk and folk punk and all that stuff.
Yeah, the one that I plan to cover is the big one. Tomorrow is Nearly Yesterday, and Every Day is Stupid.
Yeah,
that
the
one.
one with the dog.
Yep, I've got that on a shirt. And on a tote bag somewhere. I love the album art, just regardless of everything else. I just love the album art. It's so cute. I had somebody at a bakery said, "Oh, that album art is cute," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, that T-shirt is cute." I'm like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Don't recommend them the album. Don't recommend them the album." Hey, have you heard "I Am Shit"?
You heard of a band? They're just called Crywank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty minimalistic album to talk about the original one. So it's what do you like? Do you like the first song? Then you'll probably like the rest. If you don't, it's not really getting that much different.
Yeah.
Like, the Crywank version sounds fine. It sounds nice for what it is. I think Hikikomori and 18 are interesting songs that you could listen to if you want. But,
yeah.
And, like, hearing it loop back around is interesting enough because it's the guitar intonations are similar enough that it doesn't exactly lead back into the first song, but it's close enough.
I mean, we could also compare it to some of the covers on the covers compilation we did a while back. Personally, I think the best version of 18 that we've heard is the Hey I Love You version.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And I think that covers compilation showed a lot more of why I guess early Crywank has that influence when you saw, I guess, a lot more different takes happening onto it. And maybe that's what also curses this album, is that, you know, it's basically the same take over and over and over again. So maybe if it was limited to one on a compilation, I would be a bit more excited. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more excited to see if You Look Back at You does after that.
Yeah.
What is next? Any favorites or least favorites worth mentioning here?
I mean, I've always liked 18 as a song, so yeah, I guess that's a favorite. I don't really have a least favorite. I guess the favorite out of all this is the Nightcore version that they've done as a joke.
Yeah.
Just because that stands out of everything.
It does.
It is a bit of a blender. I know if we went a bit more into the lyrics, I would see not the happiest lyrics going on, but they're more hit on the other albums than I felt like they did in this one. I think this is a bit more just conceptually better than it is actual execution.
Let me pull up the lyrics to 18 for you.
Waiting for someone to tolerate me.
You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hanging around because I can't leave this cat behind. In 9 lives, if I haven't found something to hold on to, why worry? Nobody I care for will be around.
As a genre that's really easy to just go, that's angst, and then just fuck off. I never really felt like that's too much of Crywank. I feel like they actually, whilst yes, it is self-hatred happening quite a lot of the times, I think at least that they kind of go on or focus a bit more into their actual feelings, that it's a bit more than just angst, and in some points actual genuine depression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's very easy to just write it off as it's angst and kind of dismiss people's actual feelings.
That's too easy.
Yeah.
Like Lana Del Rey, everyone has to start somewhere.
Indeed.
Crywank started with their album, and Lana Del Rey started before Born to Die, but that's where she got noticed.
But then, go into Song for a Guilty Saddest of the big album, and that's an actual kind of full description of an encounter that leaves you kind of scarred internally.
Yeah,
because the person is genuinely scared of hurting somebody in a kink that they're trying to indulge in.
Absolutely, that's when it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we are with these albums. Like I said as well, I thought those kind of cloud rap songs that were premiered on FBI Radio were a lot more the kind of style of We Will Look Back at You that I'm excited for. So definitely curious to see what goes from there. It's probably a good chance that it will be released by the time that we release this episode. So if it has, go listen to those ones because
also listen to their Hatsune Miku single that just came out.
Yep.
Anyway,
it's time. It's time for the rush, I think.
Yeah.
To your touch.
All right, something to give each other. Troye Sivan. It's been a minute since we covered Troye Sivan. I think we did Bloom in 2020.
Yeah.
And we would have done the EP a long time ago. Probably one of the first things. Yeah, one of the first things we've done.
Episode 5.
Yeah.
Or 6. 4. I think 4.
I'm pretty sure we've only got... Oh, no, there's an EP beforehand as well that we haven't covered. So there's a couple EPs, I believe, that we need to cover from Troye Sivan, and one album that we didn't cover, Blue Neighborhood.
Yep.
But other than that, we've covered him quite a bit.
I was gonna do Blue Neighborhood this week, and I just wasn't feeling it. Here we are.
Yeah.
This is the album that got Troye closer and closer to that like award-winning Nirvana dream every artist dreams of. Number 1 on the ARIA charts. Nominated for Song of the Year, I believe.
Yep. Top 10 Hottest 100 on his first ever Hottest 100 appearance as well.
Really? His first time?
Yep, despite being a Triple J unearthed act.
I thought Blue would have had something on there, but that's amazing.
Nope. None of that had any crossover until this album. And personally, I agree.
I thought his music was fine before. I think there was some stuff to appreciate, but I do think this is the point where the transformation from YouTuber to musician is complete. Yeah.
The first question I've got for myself is this album, now having finally listened to this in full outside of the singles, has Troye Sivan made an album that I think is great start to finish? No. But is this still his best album? Yes. Because there are some absolute highlights on this, and there have been a couple other moments listening to Troye Sivan where I guess there's been remnants of some stuff that I like, but I've had no reason to ever have it stuck in my head or care about. This is probably the first time where I've gone, I give a shit about these songs because they are good. Rush is a banger. One of Your Girls is a tune. He's done both a good pop song and a good kind of slow, I guess, crudy type of tune here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I had to explain to my brother and my dad what face card, no cash, no credit meant.
If you could reenact that explanation.
Yeah, so you see, the face card is the nose, and that is going into somebody's ass.
Excellent.
Excellent.
No, I so like compared to his other albums, this is roughly the same length. It's a little bit shorter, but to me, this feels stripped down compared to Bloom and Blue Neighborhood. Like, there's something about the simplicity of this album that it just feels tight and concise in a way that his other work just does not. And I think part of that is like where the hits are kind of anchored and where you have room to listen to the other songs. Nothing is like too long, nothing is too short. Like even some of the more mellow songs, like What's the Time Where You Are, have interesting things in it. Or like Still Got It is kind of wistful and nostalgic in a way that's like I feel that. I see what he's doing there. It's really only when you get to like the end of the album where it's like, okay, all right, Silly Honey, yeah. How to Stay With You is kind of interesting, but Got Me Started is like where you kind of hit the peak emotion, and then it's just waiting for it to end.
But I will argue, Got Me Started is a good song. I don't actually think the Bag Raiders sample they use in there is actually necessary. I don't think it really does much for the song.
I think it does a lot. I think it complements it very well. Like, did he need it? I don't know. But I think he liked it, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like, he's going much more into, like, the house, dance pop kind of thing happening. It's not as much strict pop anymore. And, like, that gives his music a little bit of, like, an identity of, like, okay, we're going to move more toward, like, club, house, that kind of stuff. It's not just about doing pop hits. Troye Sivan is no Miley. Troye Sivan is no Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
In a sense, I think Troye Sivan did always have some kind of identity with his music. I guess in Bloom there was a bit of that start of it. Trixie I've always thought was an album that was very much stuck in its own scene. This is the most like, okay, this is Troye Sivan.
Like, I think
this is the most unique sound they've had probably out of all this. Is it the most unique sound ever? No, but it is the most kind of uniquely geared in towards telling you what is Troye Sivan's actual sound. And seeming as he's been around for like over 10 years at this point, it's a bit slow to get there, but he got there, and that's the important part.
Like, like if I were to discuss the first two albums with you, and we'll do Blue Neighborhood at some point. I know we will. Like, what the thing I would tell you...
I will just interrupt to say that Blue Neighborhood, I am excited for just because it randomly has a bunch of collaborations on there that I give a shit about.
That's totally fair. I know we talked about it a little bit way long ago when we did Trixie, but... If I were to describe what those albums are kind of about, it's just like, yeah, he's gay pop. It's about being gay pop, all that stuff. Like, I would not describe the musical identity of those as being anything other than just he's doing his thing. This is the one where it really feels like, okay, there is an evolution into being like an artist with like intention and like in a tour feel of, no, I want it to sound this way. I'm going for an effect here. It's not just oh man, he's writing a song about anal. It's no, there's interesting, complex ideas like One of Your Girls. The idea of like kind of appealing to like this seemingly straight guy and be like, hey, just let me be one of your girls. Kind of imagine me as one of them when you're having me in bed or whatever. Like there's something to that that's interesting. Or even when it's songs like Still Got It, like where it's just kind of that wistful like, man, we were just seeing each other, we were moved on, but I still got it bad. There's a simplicity to that and like a universality to that overshadows, I think, some of the stuff he was doing earlier in a good way.
Just, I guess, trying to think about it, I agree. I think it's, I don't know if I'm going to have any counterpoints to that.
Yeah.
Just trying to say to pad up time here, but I think you kind of nailed all the points there.
I do think that the single rollout is incredible, though. Rush into Got Me Started into One of Your Girls, fantastic rollout. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Honey is the last single I'm kind of less interested in, but those three songs, when it mattered, when that album was going up for like awards and stuff, totally get it.
Yeah.
I thought I'd have a lot more to say about this album, to be honest, but it's just...
I knew I didn't have much to say about this album.
I enjoyed it a lot more than any other Troye Sivan project that we've done at the moment, even if it still kind of holds up with some kind of forgettable pop tunes in the middle. I think the highlights of this kind of still make up and go, okay, well now we've finally got Troye Sivan in a point where I can go and say, it's interesting. I didn't care for the sample in Got Me Started as Shooting Stars, which I remember had quite a bit of debate in the Oz music scene with people even potentially saying that, Troye Sivan is just trying to run on a popularity at Bagman. It's like, nah, but Troye Sivan's popular enough to not need that. Don't worry about that. But, yeah, I was surprised at how much some of these songs actually are good, and I enjoy it.
I feel like we were establishing a lot of the gay pop canon this year. We did Charlie XCX, we did Chappell Roan, we were doing Lana and Troye. Just kind of getting a good view of the landscape. I know Lana was an album from a while ago.
We're probably 5 weeks away from a Carly Rae Jepsen episode.
You really underestimate me.
I was just giving us a bit of time.
Well, I mean, the thing I picked Carly next instead of somebody else, but hey, I get it. Anyway, though, I like this album. I think it's not like maybe the most like staying power wise the most important album ever, but compared to my feelings on Bloom and Blue Neighborhood, there's something here. Favorites, I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with Rush and Got Me Started. Well, maybe Ritz will, but
I prefer One of Your Girls to Got Me Started.
One of Your Girls is also great. I also like Still Got It.
Fair enough. I I really don't have much to say about this album because it very much feels like an album that's not for me. But One of Your Girls is probably my favorite. No Real Least favorite. Not really a blender, but I didn't quite enjoy it enough to be a cheese sandwich. So
I don't know.
Favorites,
somewhere in between there.
Favorites, Rush and One of Your Girls. Least favorite, probably something like Silly.
Yeah, Silly and Honey are probably like my least favorites. Just that section of the album just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make a really good EP, this one.
Yeah. All right, Trix, your time to shine.
My concept. So, I grew up watching Schoolhouse Rock. I've seen probably every video from Schoolhouse Rock 30 to 40 times. I had the DVD, watched it a lot. A couple weeks ago, I found this insane compilation I wanted to cover, but I wasn't sure how much context Ritz would have had. So here I introduced Schoolhouse Rock as a concept.
Yeah, I did know of Schoolhouse Rock because of The Simpsons. I'm a man meant to be that joke.
Yeah.
The whole friend, and I did watch the original of that. I didn't watch too much of the Schoolhouse Rock. I'm going to be honest. It was a case of just me kind of introducing myself to what this was. I didn't really do much research. I probably would have listened to like 5 or 6 songs and watched the whole videos of them. Big ones would have been like 2 political ones, but then I obviously saw it didn't just go into that. It went into some pretty simple ones as well. Like there was the Naughty 9 video I watched. With the cat playing pool. It's a interesting concept. I'm trying to think what we might have had growing up that's very similar to it, but I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I mean, this is another example of like children's music, so that we're kind of back to covering something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on it a bit. I know a lot of the songs. I don't know if I grew up on it quite as much as Trix did, but like, I'm Just a Bill. I know that song in and out. That song is just in my blood.
Yep.
But I watched all of them.
Get it out of there. What's it doing in your blood? Get it out of there.
There's some secret bangers in Schoolhouse Rock.
There are. There
like
really are.
Fucking the barter song always gets stuck in my head about currency.
I was really taken by the song about 12.
12 is great too. 12 Toes.
Little 12 Toes.
I didn't get to that one, unfortunately.
I just love. Maybe this is just a mathematical concept I'm just unaware of, and I'm just stupid. But talking about counting by 12 and like a base 12 concept of like, well, if we had 12 fingers, we'd probably be counting in 12. And then going so far as to like name what like 10 and 11 would be if they were single digits.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's really interesting and clever.
Yeah. And like there's just a lot of like good stuff here for kids, and like it holds up today. Like it's all good information, nothing like off, like nothing that has been like needed like major updates or anything.
Right. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I kind of liked. I know I'm not one of these ones who usually says these types of things, but in some senses, you do have to remain partial. Despite it talking about politics, it did not take a side in politics.
No, it's very neutral.
Yeah. It is just, in a base sense, just being educational. It wasn't trying to be a kind of here's a certain law that this is actually about or talking about. It's just in the base concept of stuff, this is how law is supposed to work.
Yeah.
The biggest stance it takes is the song about twos. Elementary, My Dear, because it takes Noah's Ark as a concept and like talks about 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, like all the animals coming off the ark kind of thing, and like that's the biggest stance it ever takes.
Yeah. You know what my favorite I kind of like I guess actually moment you can I always love to do is the Noah's Ark. It's not a case of like actually it didn't happen. It's when everybody goes like, oh yeah, the 2 of every animal. That is not actually the story. It is 7 of every clean animal and 2 of every unclean animal.
Huh. I guess we gotta simplify that to avoid describing what is clean and unclean.
This isn't. It's not something that is like have been lost in time. I'm pretty sure if you go into your like the latest version of the Bible, it should have that story saying 7 of every clean animal.
You got other songs like Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, which is about pronouns, which I feel like you could throw that video in any discussion and someone's gonna get triggered by a pronoun video.
Yeah.
And like it's a pronoun video from the 70s, so it's not doing anything revolutionary, but just like to trigger the far right, you could just fucking drop that video.
I have seen some queer artists cover that too, which is always fun.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Junction's a classic, of course.
Oh, of course.
And I think the wonderful thing is that a lot of these just hold up. Like the animations are so simple.
They are, but they're extremely well done.
And like very like stylistically consistent. Like it's like paper background and kind of really simplistic drawings of like characters doing things, and it's stylistic and impressionistic and very 70s, very TV focused.
Yes.
I love all the number songs. Like there's just having numbers like 3, 2, 4, 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Not a song for one, but
no.
You can forgive them. But and a lot of the fun things too is like they do a lot of diverse polls for like where does the music come from? Like what's the inspiration?
Yeah.
A lot of like Motown or funk, or like kind of there's some more like folk and like 60s influence, some rock stuff, but there's no specific like, oh man, they're just pulling from the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, it's it's their own style of music. Like it is educational, but it's still entertaining. It's a good edutainment, I guess would be a way to put it.
No, when I was a kid, I had like this CD called like Math House Rock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like the rabbit, Lucky 7 Samson. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember seeing that fucking rabbit on the cover. Like, oh, that's where that comes from. Interesting.
Was it a cute rabbit?
Oh, let me pull it up and I'll have you be the judge.
Yeah, that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not growing up with this, I can't really contribute too much to it other than what I've just heard. And it was interesting in a sense. I don't think it's music that holds up on its own. I think it is very important to kind of be watching the videos as it is. Especially there are moments in some of them where they stop singing just to. That is a terrifying rabbit.
I'm pulling it up now.
You reckon we can edit that for the album art today?
Yeah.
we might have to just like remake it in some sense and like pay homage to it, but
sure.
Yeah.
Like God, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's moments where they kind of stop singing and just kind of like actually start just talking and lecturing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not music that stands out by its own all the time, but it is. Yeah, it's not like the music is bad. It's not like, oh, you're just listening to this for the sake of your teachers put this on. It's. I mean, I've heard a lot of music growing up where the teachers put on like a short little video and they tried to make some fucking music to explain shit. I gotta find this actually. There was one with a rapping camel about adaptation.
Oh God.
Okay, I am curious.
While you find that, you know what I was thinking?
The fuck.
Go ahead.
Yes, I fucking found it. Oh God. Oh, fucking, it's bad. But and like the chorus is like adaptation, and
I'm looking just at the thumbnail that they have going on. It's just
it's a 3D fucking shit. It's
also the camel's glowing green like he's in a nuclear fallout.
It's only for like bits. It's actually it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But Trix, you know who I was thinking of a lot listening to this stuff?
What's that?
Shel Silverstein.
Yes. I agree 100%.
And that could just be because it's the same era and like that's just how music was in some circles, like that talky, folksy, like singing, but also kind of like telling a story. But like, God, I wish he was doing some of these.
Yeah, Shel, he would kill. at Schoolhouse Rock.
I mean, he was probably too edgy for them, but like,
yeah,
that's fine. We got Jack Sheldon. Yeah, I'm just a Bill guy. His voice is pretty great.
Yes, but I feel like I should delve a little bit more into why I picked this.
Yeah.
Dominic earlier in the week linked a Wikipedia page to Schoolhouse Rock's The Vote and Schoolhouse Rock's Rocks. I stumbled upon these beforehand, trying to like figure out how to bring Schoolhouse Rock onto the podcast. Not gonna lie, and I saw that they had a fucking insane lineup on both of them, with Ween, Manor Astro Man, Daniel Johnston, Skilo, just like a bunch of like Bismarcky. Like it just kept like getting weirder and weirder.
Skilo?
Yeah.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I voted properly.
That guy, yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I figured I had to give you guys context before I fully put that on. And then Dominic kind of spoiled my plans by linking to that and making it known.
I just want to point out that the single for this, the single is side A, Pavement, side B, Manor Astro Man.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is.
Also, it hit number 70 in the Billboard charts in 1996. So it was doing numbers.
Yeah.
Bit. I'm very excited to listen to this, actually.
Yes.
This sounds fucking insane.
It is, and it's good. A lot of artists we've covered before, a couple we haven't, but yeah.
Looking at the person from Blind Melon.
Yep.
Apparently, it's like one of their last recordings before they died.
There's a Isaac Hayes song on here.
I think that's the other one.
I'm doing both of them.
Okay. Not the sound.
Well, there's also this good video that's just popped up on my feed here. Someone's ranked every Schoolhouse Rock song.
Oh, I know what I'm watching once I get off this podcast.
Amazing.
Shout out to Dork Fox. That's the creator who's done this video. It's an hour and 45 minutes long.
Hell yeah.
It's an excuse to listen to all the songs again.
Yep.
Cool. I'm about done with this. I don't think we can really do favorites or least favorites.
We can't really, because of just how it
was a context into this.
Yes.
Are you interested in this as to do more, Ritz? I guess is the question.
Oh yeah, I'm more than happy to continue on with this.
Okay. I think
hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, even if he wasn't going to be okay with it, we were still going to be doing it.
Of course.
we did sorry for party rocking. There was no stopping what we did this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I deserve it.
You think you deserved what you got, but there's a lot more coming. Not next week, though. Not next week. I've got some pretty safe picks next week.
Hell yeah.
All right, I guess I'll pick some nice stuff next week, so you don't feel bad.
I'm happy to start off with the rankings of this episode.
Yeah,
go for it.
I think my least favorites that We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever out of all this, which is such a shame. I didn't think I'd ever put them as last, but here we are. And then I'm going to put the Crywank album, and then I'm going to put Troye Sivan, and then I'm going to put Lana Del Rey.
I think I'm going to do Crywank, then We Will Look Back at You, then Lana, then Troye? I don't know. This is actually a really hard week for ranking, because I feel like there's such disparate vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I spent a bit kind of figuring that one out, but haven't decided, obviously.
Like, there are a number of songs on Lana's album that are classic, but like the whole album itself is not super balanced. So I think on that, Troye is a little bit better. Yeah, I'll keep it there. Trix.
Crywank, We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever. Troye Sivan, Lana Del Rey, and then neither of you ranked Schoolhouse Rock, but I'm going to put it at the top.
Do what pleases you.
Yeah, that's fine. This is more of a vibes episode than a strict ranking episode in a sense.
Yeah.
But we did rank them, which means now there's only one thing left to do. Talk about next week.
Yeah. Well, I already said what I was going to do, which was Schoolhouse Rock's the vote and Schoolhouse Rocks. I will link both albums. I think there's an issue with them on streaming, but there's another way to listen to them.
Dominic, you can go next unless you want me to go next.
All right. So I feel it's an important part of the year to kind of make sure I cover a lot of the stuff that I keep telling myself I want to cover. Beyond just doing Radiohead Muse stuff, because that's not what this week's about. The first thing I want to bring up is, I talked about this, and there's been more stuff released since, but I want to make sure we get to it. It's the Paranormal side project, My Dream Fever, Rough and Beautiful Place. Along with that, Ritz, you brought this up a couple times. Postcard Nowhere's put out a couple EPs this year. So, there's one with Janitor, There Was a Light in the Tunnel, and I Thought I Lost It. And then there's a project under the name of Xenia, Ohio. It's, I guess, copyright EP?
Didn't even know that.
I think you linked it in the chat.
Maybe. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
It's on the Bandcamp page for Postcard Nowhere. So yeah, there was a light in the tunnel, and I Thought I Lost It, and then the copyright EP, because it's just like the C symbol.
Is that all?
Yeah, and then my Dream Fever is Rough and Beautiful Place.
Yeah.
All right.
So it is EP week. I'm picking a bunch of EPs again, and one of them is not related to Big Sound, but it's actually only 6 minutes, so I figured just add it on whilst we're doing some EPs. It has to do with the new Sunrun EP, Crossing. I've seen them a couple times, and they are kind of related to the scene, I guess, that I'm covering, which is the slowcore. I saw a bunch of stuff at Big Sound. Most of them I saw a couple times. And these are some EPs that I have genuinely enjoyed from this year, or in the 2024 circuit, that I figured, let's put them onto this podcast to cover it. It's not going to be all the only stuff that I've listened to on at Big Sound that we'll cover, but a bunch of them I'm still waiting for some proper releases to happen before we do so, so wait and see on that. So until then, I said this in the chat that we'd cover it, so the new Swap Meet EP, Oxyalis, that is going to be covered. The new Armlock album, which is kind of an EP, but it's actually an album, I guess. It's the same length. The Seashell Angel Lucky Charm will be covered. And because we had a great conversation about plushies, Sesame Girl's self-titled EP will also get picked. That's right, I will pick anybody who has a conversation with plushies about me.
So, you picked Sunrun's Crossing, Slot Meets, whatever that word was.
Oxyalis or something like that, or Oxalis, or what is... I keep confusing it with Oxtails, but I don't think there's a T in it. If there is, I'm an idiot, but...
Armlock's Seashell Angel Lucky Charm.
Yep.
Correct? Okay, and then Sesame Girl's self-titled Sesame Girl.
And Sunrun's Crossing, if that wasn't already said.
That was the first one I said.
Yep.
Yep.
They're all posted in chat.
Okay. Yeah, those...
This is less than an hour in total, by the way, for those who were scared.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. So you have those. You have My Dream Fever, Rough and Beautiful Place, Postcard Nowhere, and Janitors, There Was a Light in the Tunnel, I Thought I Lost It, Xenia, Ohio's copyright EP, Trix, you picked Schoolhouse Rock's Vote, and Schoolhouse Rocks. And that will do it for us this week on Dissonant Waves. My name is Dominic. Catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter, Dominic Chikoki on YouTube if you must. I'm also on the Games My Mom Found podcast. We did an episode about Xenogears recently that I quite like. Please check it out.
I've been riddling. I completed 100 gigs, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but I'm not going full on to it today. Maybe next time, but I've completed 100 gigs. I'm actually on 109 by the time of recording, and by the time this is out, probably near 120. I'm just awesome, to be honest. This actually wasn't that hard. I know, and some people might have not had the same financial insurance, I guess, that I did in this journey. But trust me, there is a shit ton of free gigs that happen in your city. Go and see one of them. No other plugging besides that.
Trix, come back.
Is she finally in our walls? Yes. She's gone because she's in our walls. Are you back, Trix? I think Trix is dead. I think we just assume Trix is in our walls.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah.
I have to hold my wire in a specific way. I'm getting a fucking new one before my recording. Next recording. Okay. You can catch me on Twitter at Procrastinaut, and I'm on Instagram now at Trix the Sandwich Wizard. I just post food pics there. You can also catch me down by the river looking for a new van.
Aww.
And this has been Shelley Duvall, and this has been Dissonant Waves.
I'm Judy Garland.
And I'm eating a sandwich.